Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be covering part 2 of how you can find a condo here in Bangkok. If you didn't watch part 1, it's the last video, and in that video I go over how to find a condo. And in part 2, I'm going to go over how to negotiate for the condo, how to avoid scams, everything about leases and deposits. So stick around if you want to learn about the process of actually getting the condo that you found from part 1. I've been living in this city for about 7 years and I have a wealth of knowledge that I'm happy to share with you. I hope you enjoy. And if you find these videos useful, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I will be making plenty more informational videos to help you live and travel in Bangkok and Thailand. Problem that I have encountered with agencies is that they do not give you an exhaustive list that is available in a building. These are the outside agencies. These agencies will normally work in an area. They will put up a lot of listings on the websites I talked about. And when you contact them, they will tell you they're not available anymore. They will offer to become your search agent and ask you for a set of criteria that interests you. Once you give them that criteria, they will provide you with a list of condos. You can choose to go and view them. They will often show you only a couple of condos and give an appearance that there is a scarcity of available units in a building and that you have to act quickly in order to get a condo. And normally this is not true. I personally have gone to an outside agency and they've provided me with a couple of condos in a building and I thought, wow, that's it. No more condos. And a lot of the time these outside agencies will request that you not contact any other agencies, which is understandable. They don't want you to waste their time, but it also means that now you are under their control. You'll only see what they give you. And when I contacted another agency that turned out to be the designated agency for a building, they showed me about 5 times more units. You are better off going directly to the condo, asking the juristic office, and being provided with a full inventory of available units that now you can compare. That's why it's so important to identify your location first. One of the most common ones is when an agent rents you a condo and you put in a deposit, you pay the monthly rent, you start living at the condo, and a short time later, somebody shows up and says they are the owner of the condo, they don't know that you're living there, they haven't been paid, and they threaten police involvement. Normally, the tenant is scared, potentially even pays additional money to the owner who claims they have not been paid. The agent mysteriously disappears, you lose. You move out immediately, you pay the owner, you lose your rent, you lose your deposit, and this is a scam that can occur particularly within the short-term rental market, as technically this is against the law in Thailand. You need to ensure that when you sign a lease, when you rent a unit, you go to the juristic office of a condo and register at the condo. This ensures that everything is above water. The owner normally has to file a TM30 and register you as a resident at the condo. And if you're looking for a short-term lease, The best strategy is to do a lease takeover. Often find these available on Facebook Marketplace, and these are tenants that want to move out early from a condo, have signed a lease, and they need to find a tenant to take over their lease. These will normally be legitimate because you're going to be registered at the condo. Other better strategy is to go through Airbnb, where you may pay a little bit of an additional fee, but you can look at a lot of reviews that have been left for a condo for a particular owner and ensure that you are dealing with somebody that is legitimate, somebody that has a track record. So you found a condo that you like, you found hopefully a few condos that you like, because here we're going to talk a little bit about negotiation. The listings you're going to find and the prices you're going to receive are rarely going to be the final offers here in Bangkok. This is a renter's market, and I would advise that you offer between 10 and 30% below the asking price. The worst case scenario, you can return and offer the asking price. But before you make your offer, you should check the website HipFlat. HipFlat will give you an average price per square meter for each of the condo buildings that you are interested in. This is a great tool because you can compare the apples and oranges price differences between two different condo buildings. For an example, when I was choosing my last condo, I was interested in 2 condo units. I offered 30% less on the first condo unit, and I offered 20% less on the second condo unit. Why? The second condo unit was actually below the fair market value on HipFlat. The first condo unit was well above the fair market value. The second condo accepted a 10% discount on the asking price. The first condo actually brought their price down the full 30%, and the second condo was still the better deal. I took the second condo at the 10% discount. So when you're going to negotiate, check those prices against the fair market value on HipFlat. And if you really want the condo and they refuse to budge, you can always come back and give them their asking price anyway. So you found a condo, you negotiated successfully, and now it comes to signing the lease. And this is obviously one of the factors that will concern people the most. If you're unfamiliar with leases in Thailand, how do you know if it's a scam or not? One big reason it probably doesn't matter that much. The English version of the lease that you sign is not the official version of the lease. The official version is the Thai version. And this is what makes dealing with a reputable agency or the juristic officer directly so important. You want to be working with a trustworthy party, and a reputable agency or juristic officer will ensure that you have that trust. I've never encountered a lease that was problematic here in Thailand. I would recommend that you review the lease, and you can request that certain things be removed or amended. For example, in a previous lease, I requested that the air conditioning cleaning fee be covered by the landlord, as this was common in all the prior leases I had signed. They agreed. they amended the lease and I didn't pay that fee. So you can review the lease and request amendments, and normally if they're reasonable, those amendments will be fulfilled. You can also check if there are any strange conditions that may leave you liable for damages or restrictions on activities. I'm not going to go through every clause in the lease here, but if anything looks strange, it may be strange and you should read it closely. However, make sure that the lease stipulates you will be paying electricity directly to the Metropolitan Electric Authority here in Bangkok. This is very important as some older apartment-style buildings will charge their own separate electricity rate, and this can be substantially higher. So you want to make sure you are paying the city rate. And it is very, very inexpensive. Normally your electric bill is billed at 4.5 baht per unit. The common fees that have been included in leases I have signed is an end of contract cleaning fee that's normally about 1,000 baht. Leases will stipulate that you cannot rent out the condo to another individual. This is normally to avoid condos being used as Airbnb rental units. Personally, I haven't had any problems with leases here in Thailand in the 7 years I have lived in this country because I've always dealt with reputable agencies. They use a standardized lease template. Those agencies want to ensure customer satisfaction. They do have a reputation. They do have a strong reputation with the juristic offices that they work with. If it's your first rodeo here in Bangkok, it's best to go with a more established agency, particularly one that is recommended by the building juristic office, as it will ensure that you are dealing with a trustworthy party. Finally, we have the deposit. It's really a little bit of a luck of the draw scenario. Thai law requires tenants to pay a 1-month deposit and the first month's rent. However, it is very common practice for landlords to require a 2-month deposit along with the first month's rent, which means 3 months up front. Now, this may seem like a lot, and frankly, despite the law being in place, good luck getting it enforced. You can negotiate this, but that will be up to any individual landlord. In most cases, you will be required to pay a 2-month deposit. In my 7 years living in Bangkok, I've had very few problems with deposits. I've paid for small damages that I have left in a condo, and normally you will pay a premium for any damages, so you should avoid damaging the condo. What you want to do when you move into a condo is make sure to catalog every single little damage in the condo. This is the same type of thing you should be doing with a motorbike when you rent it. Walk around, take pictures, make sure to verify with the agent that these are pre-existing damages. It is rather rare to encounter extremely bad landlord situations. You can expect to potentially lose a little bit of your deposit. The most I've ever lost is about 20-30%. And to be fair, there were significant damages. I accidentally banged a door in. Fair enough, I paid for that. I personally didn't have any complaints about it. I thought it was a little bit overpriced, but nothing crazy. Most of the time, you will receive most of your deposit back, but this is a luck of the draw scenario. This is the same as in any other country. You're gonna get a variation of people, and you have to try to trust the person that you're ultimately working with. If you break your contract, the landlord does have the right to take the full deposit, but often they will only take part of the deposit, and if you find somebody to take over your lease, then they will normally return the deposit. I've heard lots of stories about this, and normally the landlords have actually been pretty reasonable, and it's understandable that they would take part of the deposit because you have to keep in mind they pay the agency a 1-month fee to find a 1-year contract, and they're out of pocket on that. And so when you are looking for a lease, if you want a shorter lease, it's also quite standard to do 6-month leases here, and you'll normally pay a little bit more for them. You do always take a risk with a deposit. In my 7 years here, I've never lost a whole deposit, and I've only lost small amounts of the deposit on each of my contracts, and on a couple of them I've lost nothing. Don't be too concerned. You'll probably hear the horror stories or see or read the horror stories when you check online, but they are actually relatively rare, and it's just that there are a lot of people that come to visit the city and stay in it for a short time, and often it's in these short-term rentals where you get worse outcomes. Short-term rentals are not technically legal here in Thailand, and so a lot of the landlords that are in the short-term rental market are operating in semi-legal territory, and you are encountering significantly more scams in these situations than you will if you're signing a proper contract. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, if you found the video helpful or informational, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll be making lots more informational videos and guides about how to live in this city, visit this city, avoid scams. There's lots of them coming. I'll see you next time.